Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we are looking at the top 5 best updates in Marvel Future Fight history. If you haven't checked out the video from yesterday, we covered the 5 worst updates. Now I want to remind you guys that this is the top 5 in my opinion, so if you don't agree with it, that's fine. Let me know in the comments below, but you gotta back yourself up. You can't just not like it because you don't like it, okay, crybaby? In addition, I took into consideration 3 very important factors. The least important, how the update appears to me. The second most important, or the one that's kind of midway, is how the community reacted to the update. And the most important reason, I think, is how the update impacted the game. So with these 5, we are looking at the updates that brought the most content, the most creativity, the most uniqueness, longevity, and characters, and kind of had the biggest impact possible. So coming in at number 5 is probably the most controversial or the least agreed upon update, but I do think it is the Marvel Now update from January 11th, 2017, so about a year and a month ago. This update wasn't heavy on the characters. It only brought Ironheart, Kate Bishop, and Medusa, but they're 3 solid characters from a pretty interesting comic story line. In addition to that, it gave us 5 pretty great uniforms. It gave us the uniform for Amadeus Cho, which actually made him a decent character. It gave us a uniform for Yellow Jacket that everyone likes. It gave us Red Hulk's uniform, which again everyone likes, and it gave us Captain America's Marvel Now uniform, which everyone likes, and it gave us Squirrel Girl. So in my opinion, that's one of the best updates for uniforms possible. 4 of those 5 uniforms are absolute bangers in terms of their value, in terms of how good they make the character, in terms of how cool they look, top to bottom. Those were great uniforms. In addition to that, this uniform is heralded as the first real proof that Netmarble knows how to rebalance characters, because this was the update where we got the Elektra rebalancing, the famous Elektra's dojo, and we saw with wide eyes that Netmarble and the devs actually knew what they were doing when they buffed a character up and they turned Elektra from a 0 to a hero. So in my mind, that singular feat makes this one of the 5 best updates in Marvel Future Fight history. But they didn't even stop there. They also buffed and rebalanced Hulk and Red Hulk. It would take a little bit more time, especially with his Ragnarok uniform, for Hulk to really find his form. But I have to say, after reading through all those patch notes, I was really impressed with how much effort they had put into one update. But it didn't stop there. They also introduced the quick upgrade for ISO 8, which has obviously been a godsend since it was introduced, because ISO 8 upgrading is one of the most boring, time-consuming things in the game. And then the last thing they did, and this is where people are going to disagree with me, they introduced the uniform upgrade system. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar, before this update, uniforms were just something that you purchased and something that gave you the all attack and all defense. With this Marvel Now uniform update, they added these uniform options. They added the 5 additional attached uniforms, and they basically really improved. They lifted and they pushed the ceiling on so many characters. Of course, only the characters that had uniforms, but still. Now, originally, everyone hated the uniform upgrade system because you had to have all of the uniforms to get the bonuses. Now, and since we reacted badly, they changed it so that if you don't have the uniform options, you don't get that specific option, but you still get all of the other ones. So for example, Satana, I have, or maybe Satana is not a good option because I do have all of them, but for some of my other uniforms, I don't have all of the secondary uniforms in the list, so I don't get to collect all of the stats for that uniform, despite the fact that I have built it up. I don't have any examples to show you guys right now because I've purchased almost every uniform, but for those of you who have them upgraded, you know what I'm talking about. Just the one that you don't have is now grayed out, as opposed to all of the uniform options as it originally was. So while I don't agree with how strict and punishing the original uniform upgrade system was, I do have to say that in the long run, the uniform upgrade system was a hit. It was a good piece of additional character building and customization, and it really did add an extra layer of depth to all characters that have uniforms and have since gotten uniforms. So I do really like that. Coming in at number 4 on the list is kind of a throwback. It's the original Black Order update, version 2.0 from March 16th, 2016. Now, this update originally caused a lot of controversy among players. We had people quitting, we had people rage quitting, we had people just throwing their hands up in the air, having no idea how to beat World Boss. It was new content, and it was punishingly hard. The only characters they introduced, Proxima, Corvus Glaive, and Black Dwarf, could not be obtained unless you purchased Black Antimatter or you beat them in the World Boss Battle to get their biometrics. And believe me, the World Boss Battles were hellishly hard. This was before Loki had a tier 2 passive. It was a nightmare to beat these bosses, but it was real content, it was real challenging, and it was fun when you got the hang of it. The 3 uniforms that they introduced, Elsa Zombies, Marvel Zombies, the Destroyer Prometheus uniform, and the Hulkbuster uniform, are not too special in the long run, but really I think what makes this uniform or this update special was the content and the fact that Netmarble did not back down and did not make the bosses easier and did not kind of hold our hands through the experience. We figured it out. In addition, this was the update where they attempted the real-time PvP for Timeline Battle. And while I hate Timeline Battle, I did kind of enjoy the real-time PvP. I know it was buggy, I know a lot of people disconnected and got frustrated, but when it worked, it was actually pretty entertaining to be fighting someone live instead of this AI stuff. Additionally, this was the update where they introduced comic cards. They got rid of the old kind of comic set RNG gacha mechanic, and they introduced the one that we have now that we've since come to really enjoy. It gave us a huge boost to our characters' stats and abilities, and it just made the game a lot more fun overall. It also introduced ISO 8 Awakening, which is pretty cool. Coming in at number 3 on the list, probably what a lot of people would think is my number 1 favorite update, the X-Men update. Yes, I think this was a very good update, and it was good for the game because it brought so many new players in because the X-Men are just so beloved. It might not have been the best update in terms of uniforms or in terms of characters or in terms of content, but it definitely had the most appeal of almost any update ever. And this was on June 7th, 2017, version 3.1. So we, of course, got Wolverine, Beast, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Storm, Rogue, and Magneto. We got the X-Men. In addition, we got the uniforms for Gwenpool and Crystal, which were kind of throwaway uniforms, but that's okay. We got the Epic Quest, which was the second one to date, and we've been waiting for another one since. It's so much fun to do Epic Quests. We also got the UI changes to have the missions and arena and etc. tabs divided up, which I do generally like the way that this is organized. It also gave us the content status board, which is one of the best ways to figure out what you need to do in the game for that day. So I really appreciate having that in that update. And then this was also the update where they allowed us to view other players' cards, other players' ISO 8 sets, Uru, and other kind of stats for their uniforms. And what they've rolled for different options. So it was a really good update overall. It gave us a lot of different things and that kind of complemented each other, but also were just uniquely asked for, whether they were quality of life or something else altogether. And of course, yeah, X-Men. Runner-up for the best update in Marvel Future Fight history is version 2.5, Shadowland. I put Shadowland second because it's just the game mode. The rest of the update is not that impressive, but Shadowland singularly stands out as the pinnacle of game modes in Marvel Future Fight. This is one of the best game modes of any mobile game I've ever played, period. So this transcends Marvel Future Fight. There is so much fun to be had here, and it's scary to think that there's still so much more that Netmarble could do to innovate on this game mode. I cannot stress enough how much worse Marvel Future Fight would be if this game mode did not exist, if this update never happened. So thank you, version 2.5. You might have singularly saved the game for the time being, and that was on September 20th, 2016. In addition to Shadowland, it also gave us Shang-Chi and Misty Knight, two kind of whatever characters. It gave us uniforms for Black Cat, Ghost Rider, Moon Knight, and Daredevil, four kind of whatever uniforms. Ghost Rider's uniform is probably one of the only good ones. And then it also gave us the lock system for obelisks and cards, which is whatever. It gave us the quick upgrade for cards, which is nice, and it gave us the enhanced detail window for characters' stats and kind of percentages and stuff like that, where you could see the breakdown by gear, card, and ISO 8. Finally, we come to the best update in Marvel Future Fight history. For those of you that have already guessed, yes, it is the Doctor Strange MCU introduction. This was by far the biggest movie tie-in update ever, and it was a massive undertaking. This update brought us so much. It was like a colossal meteor of new things and new characters to play with. In total, this update gave us 8 new characters, which is insane. All of these characters are useful to this day. Not one throwaway character, except maybe Wong. But we got Doctor Strange, Wong, Caecilius, Ancient One, Baron Mordo, Hellstorm, Satana, and Clea. It was just a crazy list of awesome characters, heroes, and villains included. In addition, we got buffs to the Black Order, which made them relevant again, which was meaningful for the villain tags. It gave us 4 uniforms for, of course, Doctor Strange, Baron Mordo, Wong, and Ancient One. And then it gave us the new game mode that we didn't even know we wanted or needed, but that we actually love deep down, Epic Quests. I know some of you who are new to the game may be struggling to get through the Epic Quest, but it's so much fun to build up a character slowly in this form, as opposed to just grinding out bios in a story mission, grinding out bios in Shadowland, and just upgrading them. It almost feels like you're actually going on a journey as you go through the Epic Quest. That's why whenever we talk about big names that still haven't come to Marvel Future Fight, Doctor Doom, the Fantastic Four, Galactus, Deadpool, we always mention Epic Quests. It's on everyone's mind, and everyone loves and enjoys this kind of step-by-step building from 0 all the way up to max rank. So for introducing Epic Quests, for bringing us Doctor Strange, for bringing us so much, it also brought ABX and Auto Timeline, which I have mixed feelings about, but that is why that update has to be number 1. And that is the update, along with Shadowland, that should be the standard from now on for updates, in my eyes, in Marvel Future Fight. So let me know what you guys think of my top 5. I got a lot of positive emotions going into this one, so if you disagree with me, choose your words carefully. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.